Yeah.
So welcome everybody to our Unit Masters speaker session. It's part of the Unit Masters program. It's a 6-week structured program for pioneers to enter into the new economy and building what we call the stakeholder economy, fueled, built on blockchain and fueled with tokens. And we typically have 2 speaker sessions a week where we invite experts in the field and people who have very accomplished projects and missions in their lives to join us and share their expertise with our audience. Our audience is people from all around the world who are change makers, who see that there needs to be some change in the world and who are ready to use technology and also new ways of thinking to accomplish this change. And Ralf, the way it typically works is we have about 10 minutes of time, 10 to 15 minutes of time for you, the speaker, to share about your life journey, what actually have been tasks and missions you've been set out to invest your lifetime in solving, and how did you go about it? Where did you meet the challenges? So that we can basically see the world through your eyes. And then we have a little session where you can share about your views of the future. How do you see the world in 2030? And what would be like good projects to invest time lifetime on, basically. And then we open it up to our audience to ask all the questions they want to ask to you, because now after you spoke they have understood what drives you and what kind of decision maker you are, and then they can ask their relevant questions to the topic of interest and area of expertise for you.
All right, great. Yeah, I'm a perfect addition for this then.
So maybe we can just start with you sharing about your life.
Okay, so basically, I was born in Beirut, Lebanon, immigrated to Toronto, Canada when I was 1 years old. Um, my mom basically kicked my dad out when I was 5 years old, so it was definitely a struggle for her to raise two boys. So I got in. I'm basically in the hospitality industry. After university, I realized that I was throwing events for my birthday party, and my 21st birthday, I had like 700 people at my birthday. So I was like, oh, okay, this might be a good idea to just start throwing parties. And I worked at right after university. I worked at a bar, and then I went on to start promoting events. Started my own company when I was about 25. And what I would do was I would have 4 different clubs a week. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I just had a following of people that just came to the clubs on each night. And the way that I structured my business was I would take the cover charge and the bar would take the bar. So I basically was working for myself right away. So I didn't have to rely on the club to pay us. So basically, at the end of the night, took my money, paid whoever I need to pay. And then at 30, I saved all my money, opened my first club at 30. Um, and then things just started happening. Opened a restaurant at 32. Opened a spa at 33. Started a big music festival in Mexico called the BPM, which was massive. And then, yeah, so basically added another club at 36, and then added another restaurant at about 37. And then started another music festival in Jamaica called Tmrw.Tday, which was as my crowd got older, I realized that a lot of the wellness side of things was important. So the festival in Jamaica was geared towards the wellness side of things. So it was yoga, speakers, stuff like that, and then added the reggae element because obviously we're in Jamaica, and then added the DJ side of things. So fast forward, Um, Sold my shares out of BPM, um, and then opened a club in Mykonos called Void. So that's just right before COVID happened. Basically, just before COVID, I just got a realization of, you know, all the annoying partners that I had in any of my businesses, I wanted to get rid of. So sold out of BPM, sold out of Void, Mykonos. I was basically kind of wondering what the next move was. You know, I'm 47 now, but so basically right before COVID, what, last year, 46, I didn't really want to do clubs anymore. And then an opportunity came here in Bali for a hotel project. So now I'm in Bali working on a hotel project. And regarding the Tmrw.Tday festival, we basically took this online. So now we're building a community online. I'll send you guys a link. We have it happening in about 2 weeks. So I'll send you guys a link and a code so you guys can kind of come on and see exactly this platform that we're working on, now that, you know, we can't really do anything. So everything's basically online, but I'll send a code and everything to Michael so you guys can kind of come on and see what's happening there. But it's a great community that we're building there.
That sounds amazing.
And
Yeah, thanks so much, Rolf. And I guess
yeah,
you've started one of the biggest festivals in North America. An
yeah.
expert in community building and creating, like a strong brand. Like what kind of like how did you get started? Like you mentioned you started with a few nights, but like was it someone who kind of showed you the ropes and you kind of they kind of took you under their wing, or were you like just following your intuition, or like what kind of gave you that sort of insight
Well,
to like?
it's kind of like when I was basically Guy Liberté from Cirque du Soleil was kind of my mentor, because I was going to his events like probably like 25. So he in Montreal. So he's from Montreal. So he would create these amazing experiences where, you go to his house and, you leave 2 days later. So it was like this open bar. It was just he was so giving, and he created such an amazing experience where, you had his Cirque performers around. It was just so inspiring to me. And it was kind of my kind of, it was just a dream of mine to just do the same thing kind of he was doing, where he would just create these amazing experiences for people. So he's definitely my mentor. And, I became really good friends with him, and he brought me on his experiences that he would do around the world. So we went like diving in Palau. He just built an island off of Tahiti there, so I've been there a couple of times. And so he's basically my mentor. So last year I did a safari for 50 people, 50 of my friends in Kenya. And before that, I went and worked with the kids for 3 weeks, and then right after that, I met this group of 50 people. So I combined safari with DJs, and it was a great experience. We met the Maasai tribe. So now anything I do, I incorporate a learning experience with the people. So it's like party, it's educational about what's happening in the world. So I have the next one next February 4th. So yes. So basically for me, it's about now, my hustle is done now. So now it's like, okay, now that I'm financially stable, it's okay. Now I want to do kind of amazing projects for, educational project to what's happening in the world, whether it's, plastic, whether it's helping the kids. I'm just kind of starting that in my life right now. So yeah.
Amazing. And how did this shift happen? Like, what was it? Was it a particular event, or was it like, like inspirations and mentors that kind of gave you this perspective, to sort of give back or do more and
No,
do more, have more meaning?
I think it was always on my mind. It's just now, I was just wanted to get myself financially stable so I can really kind of focus on these things and not focus about money anymore in my life.
Amazing. And I guess, starting like a festival, like how does one go about doing that? And how have you managed to build, several huge names?
Yeah, it was about me and my partner. We're in Toronto and we're cold in the winter, and it was like, how the hell do we get the hell out of here? So that's kind of how BPM kind of was created in Tulum. We basically made Tulum. Like, nobody knew anything about Tulum. So this is 16 years ago when we started. So we introduced kind of globally people to Tulum. I was throwing events, so I had, I was friends with the DJs already, so it was kind of easy. Hey, it was great for them because we focused on people in the industry that worked at bars and restaurants and all that. So after New Year's, everybody wanted a place to kind of go on vacation. So it was the perfect dates for people to get away, and that's kind of how this built up. So a lot of the artists would come there and stay 3 weeks to a month, so they can relax, bring their families. So that's kind of really the model that we had, and it just caught on and grew to this massive like community, basically.
Amazing. And where do you think it's headed? Like, this past 2 years has been like a huge change or shock or evolution with the whole entire industry, both like hospitality and events and festivals. Like,
yeah, so basically BPM, kind of me and my partner, we basically, our passion with it, we had a big incident with our 10-year anniversary. We were about to sell for $20 million, and there was a big issue with two cartels fighting, and they kind of they basically came into the venue and just started shooting up the venue, and 4 people died. So it kind of crippled our whole business model, and the partners started fighting, and 2 years later we just couldn't figure out how to get along, all of us. So we decided to sell our shares out of that. So really, for me, for the direction of where my partners are going, I'm just not really passionate about that. I'm more passionate about Tmrw.Tday, and that's kind of where my crowd's at now, mixing wellness with just kind of talks and just bettering themselves, rather than just going to a music festival and partying. So I'm kind of focused more on that side of things.
That's amazing. Yeah, I guess I meant to ask more about the future of the industry. So it wasn't particular, to this case. I was just curious how it's moving. I really like what you mentioned about the shift to wellness and personal development.
Yeah, so I think regarding, COVID, like, I don't know, man, I really hope that it really shook the world up, and people are going to really start taking care of this beautiful planet that we live on and be nicer to each other. But, it's very hopeful, because the human race, just goes back to kind of like stuck in this hustle and making money and just not caring about anything else. But, I'm hopeful of things changing to that direction. I think, these communities that have been created, like Tmrw.Tday, will help people be a little bit more conscious of these things. So let's see what happens,
Amazing. And like, what do you think causes people to have this shift in awareness, or, realizing that it's not just a nicer car or a bigger apartment or more money that, leads them to fulfillment? It's, stronger friendships and relationships and experiences and wellness, like, and improving oneself.
Yeah, I think, especially somebody like me, I'm a huge kind of, my energy, as you can see, Michael, is like really strong, and I'm always kind of positive and talking to people and changing their perspective on things. And I think just more people like me and and these communities will help make that change even faster. And I think COVID had a lot to do with, you know, people realizing like, wow, you know, the human interaction and connection is so needed in our world. So, you know, hopefully they'll wake up and realize that wow, you know, it's so important to have people around and be nice to people, you know. And regarding people working, you know, I think companies, and they're realizing, okay, do I need to be in a fucking office from 9 to 5 to get things done? I don't think so. I think people can work remotely from now, you know. And I was a big fan of the people that I hired. You know, I had tons of employees with all my venues. You know, at the end of the day, just get your job done, and that's the most important thing. It doesn't matter whether you're at the office, whether, for me, it was just as long as the job's done, that's all that matters, you know.
Amazing. So what do you think, like, you know, after the current global pandemic and COVID sort of has sort of shaken people, what are the implications? Like, how are, you know, entrepreneurs going to react? How are, you know, the entertainment industry, hospitality, like how's...
Well, I think it's people are really gonna start realizing what their passion is, and you know, it's they're gonna start following their passion and not just, you know, stuck in an office trying to make ends meet. And you know, that's why I think a lot of people were miserable, because they were too busy, you know, in this hustle to pay their bills and not able to follow their passion. I think that's a big important factor for people, because if you're not following your passion, I don't think you're really as happy as you can be, you know. I think, what is it, Twitter, I think that you don't have to go to the office anymore as long as you can get your job done. No, I think that's a trend that's going to happen with a lot of companies, I hope.
Amazing. And we have a question here from Yep. How does one look at music and arts as a sustainable business? What parameters do you, as a business entrepreneur, look at to see if an opportunity is worth your time or financially stable?
I think that's a tricky question for me. Let's see here. You know, I was kind of just really, for me, I'll use me as an example. You know, I just followed my passion, and you know, I was lucky because, you know, I gave, you know, people such a good energy that they wanted to follow me. And that's why my clubs were successful. You know, I think it has to do a lot with the energy that you give people, and, you know, you're respectful to women and not creepy, and they'll follow you to the club. You know, if you're creepy, you're not going to get anybody to the club. So, you know, you have women at the club, the guys follow. It's a pretty easy model.
Amazing. And we've got a good question here from Petra. Before the question, she says, I like the way you think and also your hopefulness. Though, how do you imagine the change where the majority has nothing, and people being less money driven due to the rising poverty and inequity on earth?
I think it's just, you know what, I think it's, I realized, you know, I always been, oh my God, I have to help this world. It's in such a sad place. But like, the more people I talk to, because I have so many connections around the world, that, like, you know, there's different people creating their own kind of Tmrw.Tday community. So, you know, it's positive and hopeful for me. I think it's just a matter of these people kind of creating these communities, and then, you know, eventually these communities can kind of plug into each other and help each other for, you know, more global impacts. I think it needs to start like that, you know, because you can't think too big, because you just get lost. I think it's a matter of starting small with these communities and then working together on change.
Amazing. That's super, super inspiring. And we have a question here from Mohammed Samir. How did you find your passion?
You know what? It was just a matter of I was really lucky. It was just, you know, I loved people together and people happy, and, you know, that's through, my events and bringing people together with music, you know, I was lucky. Just like I realized that's my passion. It's just, you know, looking out at a party that you create and everybody happy together. I think it's, you know, it's a great way that you can kind of now implement change, because you have this group of people all together, hundreds of people. So you can slowly start creating change and educate people because you have them all together, you know? So, you know, so now I'll give you an example with Morabito at the hotel. Once, you know, it's just the starting point now. So I'm going to use that as a hub to create different projects from there to create change, whether that's, you know, helping the kids that don't have parents, the plastic programs, just, you know, I haven't got into it yet, but that's definitely going to be a hub for us to make change from there.
It's super amazing, Ralf. Thank you so much. We have a comment here from Joe. Thank you for sharing so openly. Do you think that Bali could become one of the centers of change in the world?
Yeah, definitely. I really think, you know, coming to Bali, like, wow, it's like such like that, you know, I feel at home. It's like when I go to Burning Man every year, you know, right away you feel at home and you're so comfortable. And I really think that there's a lot of like yeah, there's a lot of really talented, creative people here, and it seems like everybody's thinking the same. And the people that aren't thinking the same, they eventually leave Bali. It's a funny energy here, you know. The people that live here tell me that, you know, Bali will accept you, but if you don't have the right attitude and mind, then it just spits you out. And you know, I've seen it happen to a couple people, and I totally understand that concept. But I really think that Bali's going to be an example that we're going to show the world how to live. I really think that's going to happen, and I'm going to, you know, have a big impact on moving towards that goal.
Amazing. Another question here from Yip. What makes a good community? What are the key things one has to think of when building a new community?
I think the most important thing in making a community is understanding that not everybody thinks like you. So, you know, when you're creating the community, it's important to give, you know, different elements that somebody can grab onto. So they can grab onto a certain thing, whatever it is, and then, you know, you slowly introduce, you know, all the other elements to it. But you know, it's about people being comfortable at first. So you have to give them a variety of different, you know, whatever it is, if it's programs, if it's a speaker that is trying to, you know, better yourself, or is it a party? It can be anything. So once you grab them and they're comfortable, then, you know, you can introduce them to other things that they would normally be uncomfortable with. And, you know, it's about trying new things and seeing what you like, you know. So it's basically opening people's minds to, you know, you can't say you don't like something. Try it first, because, you know, you might like it. You know, you have to be open to everything. And that's what I think good communities should be about. You know, a lot of communities are created, but they're, you know, they have a snobby element. Oh, if you don't like this, then you're not part of the community. So, you know, that's not really a community. That's more, you know, a tribe, let's say, you know. So I think, you know, you know how they say, find your tribe. You know, I have dozens of tribes because I'm open-minded, and I can go into any tribe that I want, and people accept me because I'm open-minded, and I can relate to whatever mission that they have, you know.
Amazing. A question here from Kat. Where do you see music and the event industry going and evolving over the next 2 years?
I think as far as, music festivals, that's always going to be there. Um, I think for myself, no, I think it's just going to go back to the way that it is. But I think people are just going to, hopefully these organizers are going to be a little bit more conscious too, where they're making millions of dollars off a festival. Give 30% of that to a cause. It's something that's important to this world, and I think it's important that these music festivals are aware of these things that are needed in the world. It's not just about money. So, hopefully COVID had a lot to do with them realizing these things. So as far as clubs go, I think things are going to go back to the way that they are. I just think, people are going to be more aware of how important it is to have, that human touch. Yeah. So let's see. As far as artists go, I think people are just realizing how things now are like how the internet is so important, and how people can be anywhere in the world now and get their work done. So the world's definitely changed. I have this amazing video here, Michael. I'll send you. You can share with the group. It's about, I think it's from 1962, and when the computer was just introduced, and how he was saying how later on in the world, cities aren't going to be as important, and people are going to be able to work from anywhere in the world. So, it's like what me and you are doing, Michael. We're in Bali. We can get anything done here. So it's a good example. Who wants to live in a concrete jungle when we have this beautiful world around, I don't know what these office buildings are going to do. Like, you know what I mean?
And we have a nice question here. What was your happiest moment in your career and life?
Sorry, repeat that.
So I guess the question was, what was your happiest moment in your career and life?
Sorry, what was my happiest moment in my life?
Yes. So question from Yip is, what's your happiest moment in your career as well as like personally in your life?
I think man, I don't know. It's just, I've had so many happy moments, it's just like every weekend when I look out at my club and these people are dancing and smiling, like that's, just that feeling that I get every weekend. And I just think, for me, when I created this safari project, before I started inviting people, I sent it to Guy Liberté, and I asked him what he thought, and right away he got on a Skype call with me, and he booked 12 spots right away. So it was kind of like, wow, my mentor now is coming to something that I'm doing. So it was such a gratifying feeling where you kind of feel that, wow, now this mentor's coming to what you do. So that the moments like that are definitely a good feeling, and just things that I've created throughout my life, and goals that I've had, and meeting those goals, and just kind of pushing myself to get better and better and better. So now, going from a busboy and always dreaming of having a hotel, and now I have a hotel in Bali on a beach. I don't know what's going to beat that.
Amazing. Another question here from Kat. What are your thoughts on the token driven economy, cryptocurrency, and issuing tokens for artists or venues or clubs or events?
Yeah, so basically, I just last week created my first crypto account. I have no idea about this. So Michael is going to fill me in on tokens and crypto, and hopefully I'll be an expert next time we have this conversation.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Ralf. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh.
Nice question here from Mohammed. What are the few suggestions you want to give for the people who want to achieve financial freedom so they do not have to worry about money?
Man, get into crypto. I think that's what I think. All these young kids that are, have all this wealth. I can't wait to understand this whole crypto game. It just seems that that's the future, and it's tried and tested. And I think that if there was anybody that was asking me this question, I would say learn about crypto.
Amazing. That's super inspiring. And what kind of, as an entrepreneur, as a creator, as a community builder, what sort of advice has, your mentors or anyone given you in your like personal development, which has kind of struck with you or had a strong impact and, someone can sort of learn from?
Yeah, I think, let me go back to that other question, Michael, regarding, following your passion. The thing is, we all need money to live. So, like me, that didn't have any money, and we were broke, and I had to hustle. It's just a matter of, pay your bills and hustle, but don't lose focus of what your passion is. So really try to figure out how to bring in your passion into whatever you're doing, or I think you're just going to get caught in the rat race, and you're not going to be as happy as you can be. What was the next question? Sorry.
Yep. So the next question we have here is, what kind of cultural work environment do you think is needed to help people perform at their workplace? Like, how would you structure your new ventures with? Yeah.
No, I think, for me, it was always important for me where, the people I had around me and my staff always felt comfortable, and I created a family environment. And, I told everybody, listen, if you ever feel that you're not getting paid enough, or ever, have issues with anybody or anything, please talk to me. And I always resolved that. So it created this amazing family environment, and everybody worked harder for me, and harder, just, they were happy at work, because I created that environment. And then I had no turnover rate. It's insane. Like, people basically came with me over 10 years, and then they were able to follow their passion from there. So, when they're ready to kind of go out into the world, open business or whatever, it was, I basically created a foundation to make it easier for them to do. So I would say, find, that workplace, or even create that workplace. So when you're working, to create that family environment, and a lot of people need to be open or triggered, whether it's your boss or anybody, create that family environment is I think it's important. You just got to get rid of the ego. Ego is a very dangerous thing in this world.
Amazing. Nice question from to how did you find your passion?
You know what? It was just, I remember my mom just kind of I always wanted people around me, and, I was all so social. So, it really, like I always had people around me, and it's just, that was my passion, having people around me and making them happy. So I was lucky to turn that into a business with nightlife.
Amazing.
And now my passion is giving back to the world. So that's really, my transition now. It's about, okay, now let me take the tools and my connections around the world. Okay, now how am I going to make this world a better place?
Amazing. A nice question here from Yip. How does one give back as a business person?
I think it's a matter of, you know, especially when I went to Africa and saw these kids, you know, they would walk to these schools for 2 hours barefoot just to get to school. It's like people don't even realize what's happening in the world. You know, I really think people need to travel to these places, and, you know, it's really a wake up call to what's happening. And, you know, it's, you know, I'm a big fan of, you know, not just, oh, here, let me give money to this foundation. Like, where's that money going? You know what I mean? Like I don't even know if I trust all these charities and foundations. And, you know, I hear like horror stories about how they're managing the money. It's crazy. So for me, it's important for me to create my own projects and know exactly where the money's going. So, you know, I think it's just a matter of these businesses, like, just do something. You know, not doing anything isn't helping.
Really cool. So thank you so much for sharing that, Ralf. We have a question from Alex. He has a question. Could you please expand on Tmrw.Tday and talk about the challenges of doing an online event, like compared to a live event?
Yeah. So basically, guys, go to here. Let me type it in. I can type it in here, right? Yeah. Watch this. Okay. www.Tmrw.Tday. Okay, so basically this community is all about what we're talking about, helping the world. I can't wait till you guys go on there, check it out, feel it out. So basically when COVID happened, our festival was the beginning of April. So, you know, we were like, oh my God, what's going on? You know what I mean? We didn't understand, should we cancel? As things started canceling, my partner just all of a sudden just created this platform with Zoom where we created this online community, and we had, I think, like 1,500 members, you know, in a month. So yeah, it was just incredible. So basically we used Zoom as the platform, and we'd have yoga, we'd have you know, mini TED Talks, we'd have everything that has to do with wellness on there. So yeah, just check it out, and let me know what you think. Michael, I'm gonna get some free codes for everybody. It's upcoming, and I'd love you guys to participate in what we're doing. You guys are gonna be blown away by what we're doing. So yeah, these free codes will give you access to everything. So it's a packed schedule. So I can't wait to have the conversation after this festival.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Ralf. Really appreciate that, and looking forward to it. We have a great question here from Petra. Do you know any projects around the Yucatan region to support the community there? Petra feels that it's going down the past 10 years. You basically can't go to Cancun because it's on the back of poor local population. How do you feel about that? Do you feel that parties also destroy nature and local communities?
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of the people that are creating these music festivals. Okay, don't use plastic glasses. Like, it's like little things like that. Like, I'll give you an example. The safari we went to, where we did the event, we basically in the forest, we gave a bag of seeds for everybody, and we threw them after we left, so the forest grows back. So it's just a matter of the, you know, you know, I for example, I started this no plastic campaign. So I called all the club owners that I know around the world, and I got them all to eliminate plastic straws. So it's just a matter of, you know, plastic straws is a great example of just this, get people conscious of what's happening. And, you know, a simple thing like a straw, the people will start thinking differently. I think it's just a matter of getting them, opening the door for them to think consciously, you know. And I know tons of people, owners of festivals and clubs. So, I'm doing my part to really kind of get them to start thinking a little more consciously. So, it's great because I have the connection with all these people in the entertainment industry, and, they follow me and listen to me. So, one step at a time.
Amazing. And I guess we've got time for two more questions. I guess one question is,
Yeah.
like, what's your vision and dream for the future in terms of like issues or problems that you'd like to be solved? Like, what's one or two things that you feel really resonate?
Oh man, like plastic in the oceans. It's like I cringe, like I'll give you an example. We went to Rajampon diving trip with a group of people, and they had all these little deserted islands, and we were doing a beach cleanup every day. It's just so sad to see. Like, I just don't get how people just drink out of a plastic bottle and just throw it on the ground. It just blows my mind. It really pisses me off, to be honest. So, it's just, I don't understand these water companies that are still producing these small plastic bottles, like Nestle. Like I don't know why they don't eliminate these things from the top, so they just don't produce them. Yeah, okay, they're making money, but I think they're making enough money for them to stop all these things. But that's a huge thing for me. And another huge thing is just the kids, just kind of making sure they're not hungry. And I'm learning more about water, and how so limited people have access to water. It's crazy with the amount of wealth that you know Jeff Bezos has. What is he worth? 250 billion? Like what the hell? What's he gonna do? Like, what's he doing with that money? So, I don't know. It's frustrating, to have that much money, and the world still being the way that it is. So I hope that, these people, I think, like the Elon Musks and Jeff Bezos, and, the owner of Uber is a good friend of mine now, Garrett. So, I have a lot of conversations about this. So, I think it's just one step at a time. And, I really hope that these people really make a difference in the world, like I am. And I don't even have nearly as much money as that. So, it's hopeful. Let's see what happens.
Amazing. So we have time for maybe one more question here from when you try something new or follow your passion, how do you overcome the fear of failure inside?
I think the most important thing for me is when I have an idea and I have a passion about something or a project. The first thing that I do is I surround myself with the right people to help me create that passion. So without these people around me, it wouldn't be, I just don't know, it just makes me to achieve that passion a lot easier. It's surrounding yourself with good people, and whether they have their own ideas or whether they buy into your idea, but it's just making them comfortable with creating that family environment. And like, everybody's always my partner. Like, if people always were like, oh, that's my boss, no, you're my boss. It was like always a fight. It was always making sure that people felt we're in this together. And we, it was never the word I, it was we. So that's how I'm really able to kind of accomplish any dream that I have.
Thank you so much, Ralph. So maybe just last point before we wrap up with question from Phil. How can I best contact you about a project I'm running in Jamaica for the past few years? We're looking to expand, and you may be of great help. So how can people reach you?
Perfect. Yeah, just give here. I'll write down my email right here. Right? Isn't that the easiest way?
Perfect. Yeah, that sounds really good. Or if
Okay,
people watching, maybe you can kind of share. Yep.
My WhatsApp is 1416.
So it's Ralf at ralfmadi.com. RALFMADI.com.
Yeah, and then
thank you so much.
My WhatsApp number is there.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Ralf. So I guess we're going to wrap up now, and we're going to move into breakout rooms for 10 or so minutes. And yeah, really appreciate, Ralf, for you stepping in.
Okay, no problem. So guys, let me get, I'm going to get these Tmrw.Tday codes for everybody. So Michael, as soon as I get them, I'll send them to you so you can send them out to everybody. All right, guys, thank you so much.